I cut my own bangs this morning. I think I did an okay job, but I don't know. Today I'm going to be answering a few questions that I received about handstands, how to do them. I wanted to do a sit down video talking about the drills and the things that I suggest, just to be a little bit more in depth, because I think that sometimes, even though the quick, cool drills videos are great and they're great for the algorithm loves them, I think that handstands are a very surprisingly complicated skill to learn, and there's a lot to think about going into this skill, that it's hard to just cutely, nicely package them up in the small reels and TikToks. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to do that. I still do that. But just in case you have some time and you want to hear me talk about it in depth, here I am doing so. First question that I'm going to start with is, how do I start? What I recommend is to start by developing shoulder strength and stability, straight arm strength and stability. The other thing that people neglect or don't take into consideration is shoulder mobility. My go-to holy grail drills for this is going to be, for sure, straight arm planks and pike stands. With a pike stand, mine looks kind of intense because my hamstrings are flexible, but it doesn't have to look like that. If you're just starting off, most likely it's not going to look like that. Don't get discouraged. That's totally okay. You can build up to a acceptable level of mobility and form. But what it's going to do when you practice the pike stands is it's going to help you to be able to get used to being upside down without fully putting your entire body weight over your wrists, hands, shoulders, all of that. Other drill that you can do is a pike stand and then lift one leg up at a time. Now, this is going to help you to pretty much load your shoulders and your wrists, your elbows, everything. But again, slowly and gradually, so that you're not putting your entire body weight over your arms and everything. Besides the shoulder strength and the mobility of your shoulders and your arms and wrists, I forgot about the wrist mobility. See what I mean? Handstands are complicated. There's a lot of things to think about. You also need to work on your wrist mobility. So besides that side of it, the other thing that you need to really work on when you're beginning is learning how to kick up and learning how to fall. Because if you are not afraid to fall, then you're not going to be stopping yourself before you reach a true vertical, because you can come down safely. There's different techniques. My go-to technique for that is going to be the cartwheel down. I don't recommend falling down into a bridge or falling onto your back. I think that that's pretty dangerous. So you're going to want to learn how to cartwheel down. Also, get comfortable with the wall, okay? I think that the wall is a great resource when you're beginning in handstands, and also when you get older, and also when you get more advanced in handstands. I think you don't want to use it as everything, but I think that it can be really helpful just to figure out where your body is in space. So definitely get comfortable with the wall. Question number 2. How do I drag myself into it? And I think what this person was meaning was, how do you get into a handstand overall? I think this is, going back to what I was saying, like learning how to kick up and learning how to fall. There are different techniques for getting into a handstand. The gymnastics kick up is different than the hand balancer kick up. Gymnastics kick-ups are for a specific reason, because you're learning handstands to get to a point where you can tumble and things like that. And hand balance is obviously focused on handstands, hand balance, right? What I recommend is starting with one supportive leg on the ground. Figure out which one is your good leg. Plant your foot on the ground, plant your leg on the ground, slightly bend your front leg, and then you're going to use the other leg to propel yourself up into your handstand. You don't have to rush this. You want to find the balance between enough power and not too much power. So you need to be able to drive your legs through the air, but you don't want to do it too fast that you just having to catch yourself more quickly. It's easier said than done, but it requires a lot of practice. explain this like in a concise manner. And I feel like it's easier to show you, but that's why I have the videos along with talking, right? Question number 3. Do we keep the pressure in the middle of our hands? No. Pressure in your hands in a handstand, you want to be equally distributed across your hand. And you're gonna want to figure out how to grip the floor. The reason for this is your hands are kind of like a steering wheel brake system type of thing. So when you can claw the floor, if you feel yourself going too far over, maybe about to fall, you can kind of adjust that. Figuring that part out is going to be a key to getting past that beginner stage of being in a handstand. Or question number 4 and 5 are pretty much the same thing. I had somebody say I always fall backwards in the cues, and somebody else said not tipping forward / backward. Or yeah. So going back to what I already said, you're going to want to for sure learn how to grip the floor and learn what the difference is when you do that. I think using the wall and kind of, tilting yourself back and forth from the wall to test your balance and to see what that feels like is really important and does help a lot. So again, going back to what I said before, get comfortable with the wall. Don't rely on it, but get comfortable with it so that you can see what I mean for some of these things. You need to learn the sweet spot of your center of gravity. Women and men have different centers of gravity. And then beyond that, every person in general has a different center of gravity. So the sweet spot for you might be a little bit different than the sweet spot for me. The last thing that I will say is learn how to tuck your ribs in and how to get into a hollow body shape. If you're trying to do a straight handstand, you're going to want to learn this shape. This is how you're going to be able to hold your handstand for longer. Obviously in calisthenics, in hand balance, you do want to learn how to be more fluid. This is something that I'm working on as an ex-gymnast, because gymnasts can be very stiff because that's what we're taught to do. We're learning handstands for tumbling and things like that, right? But in hand balance and in calisthenics, you want to learn how to be a little bit more fluid. But I think that when your first goal is just to be able to get a handstand hold, you want to learn how to do it in a way that is a straight, hollow body, tight line. So practice a hollow hold on the floor to get comfortable with what that feels like, and then record yourself doing your handstand. When you record yourself, you'll notice that maybe you might feel like you're doing that hollow body, but it doesn't look like it exactly. So go ahead and try to figure out the feeling of it so that when you go upside down, you can do it. My final suggestion for anyone who wants to get into handstands or is starting to get into handstands is to keep going. Most people, when they're learning handstands or calisthenics in general, they stop because they get discouraged or they get disinterested because they don't see results right away. And then, of course, you're never going to progress. Handstands are a really complicated skill, and it's more of a technical skill than anything else. A lot of people, there's strength required. There's mobility and flexibility required, but it's a technical skill that, I personally think that anyone can do as long as you really are persistent, find drills that help you and work for you, and you keep going and don't give up. Because trust me, even over the last few years, my handstands have improved a lot. Just keep going. Hopefully this video helps you a little bit. If you have any more questions, I love talking about this stuff. I love answering stuff about handstands. I love teaching handstands. It's my favorite thing, honestly. So please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will be more than happy to respond and maybe even make a follow-up video about it. Hope you guys have a good day. If you like this video, please let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.